Alright then, hiya, how are you doing? Episode 71 of our Blackburn Rovers Football Manager 2017 save. And just before we jump straight in, I want to apologise, just in case you hear some weird noises in the background. Apparently, Bob the Builder lives next door, and all I can hear outside the window is a chainsaw, so I've got no idea whether or not the mic is going to pick that up. So, forget about Bob the Builder. Let's focus more on us bottling the league. So, the last episode was, of course, our 2-2 draw against Milan, but we ended up getting knocked out of the Champions League on aggregate. Bad news for us was that Man United also got knocked out of the Champions League by Barcelona, which, was not really what we wanted. We kind of wanted them to stay in the Champions League. That way they'd be fighting on quite a few fronts at once. We beat Stoke 2-1. Not an easy game, but we got there in the end in terms of the FA Cup. We're now going to be facing Watford, who have definitely been a thorn in our backside so far this season. I think we've drawn against them twice, if my memory serves me correct. In fact, we've only lost once in the league this season, and they were the team that we lost against. So, yeah. We then drew 2-2 against West Ham. A bad result, really, but every time I play against West Ham, Ciro Immobile, even though you look at his attributes, he's not actually that great. Always seems to do well against us. Even if you go back a few seasons ago, he always seemed to score against us, particularly away from home. A tough game, and really at this current point in time, these draws aren't what we need. We want to try and keep that 10-9 point gap that we've kind of been maintaining for most of the season between both us and Man United intact until we hit the end of the season. But these draws with Man United winning, unfortunately, aren't doing us any good. So 1 point there against West Ham, and then played against Watford. We went 1-0 down despite completely dominating the game, guys. This second half of the season is honestly baffling. I don't feel like we're doing anything wrong with regards to how we're playing. 12 shots on target to Watford's 2, and we somehow draw 1-1. Jordan Pickford, obviously signed by Everton in real life for 30 million quid or something like that. How good is he on this game? Well, he's pretty decent, actually, fair enough. He was their man of the match, really, but questions do have to be asked of us as well. We can't just keep handing man of the match to the opposition goalkeeper, because you should be able to finish your chances, and we've not been able to do that. So, how does the Premier League table currently look? You may have caught a glimpse of it at the start. Obviously, Man City, Arsenal and co are way out of the race now, particularly after we got the double over Man City. Problem is, what was a 10-point gap between us and Man United, with them being in second place, has now been reduced to a 4-point gap. You look at the number of Premier League games still to be played, and bear in mind that Man United away at Old Trafford is going to be our final game of the season. I want to have the Premier League wrapped up before that game, because if we don't, we are not winning the Premier League this season. And someone's already asked whether or not this save will come to an end if we do win the Premier League. I'm not sure yet. It's looking likely, but yeah. So, next up, we've got Burnley. This is going to be a double episode. East Lancashire derby against Burnley. Have to beat Burnley. 15th place. You look at the Premier League table. If we beat them, it probably draws them back into the relegation zone. I kind of like Chelsea in real life, but I think it would be hilarious if they managed to get relegated in this save. And of course, we want Burnley to get relegated as well. Slaven Bilic is their manager. We need a win against Burnley to draw them closer to the relegation zone, and chances are United will win their game as well. If they do and we don't beat Burnley, then there's only 1 point between us and Man United, and God knows what might happen after that point on. And then we play Spurs, which will, without a shadow of a doubt, be an incredibly tough game. And the Liverpool game will be really, really tough in the league as well. So really, all we can do at this current point in time, we're not losing, but at the same time, we need to stop leaking goals at the back, because we're scoring goals. It's leaking stupid goals, particularly, when the opposition aren't even playing that well. That's costing us what really would have been 3 points earlier on in the season. One of the main reasons why we won so many games earlier on in the season. Okay, we scored quite a few goals, but look at them clean sheets. And if you don't concede, really, as long as you score goals, you're not going to draw, and you're definitely not going to lose either. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into the Burnley game. Second East Lancashire derby of the season. The first time we played them, we smashed them 2-0 at Ewood Park. But some people say it's the most fiercest rivalry in English football, and it's not going to be easy playing at Turdmore. Okay, so in terms of our starting lineup, Andre Gray comes in instead of Nyang. Don't feel like Nyang's been the same player ever since he came back from injury, even though without a shadow of a doubt he kind of was one of our standout players at the start of this season, but then he got injured. New signing, can't remember what on earth he's called, to be honest, that new Serbian 25 million quid right back who we apparently signed is going to get dropped for Varela. I feel like his experience will be important in a game like this, and he didn't have the best of games in the last game either, so kind of needs to get dropped. Romeu plays instead of Douglas, who's suspended, and Dumic comes in instead of Danny Bath. Just feel like Dumic will probably cope a little bit better with the pace of Danny Ings up front. But in terms of the Burnley side, it's actually quite a decent side, but I do see areas where we could potentially exploit. Kwarteng isn't exactly the most physical right back. Most of their attacks are going to be coming down that left-hand side for them, with Tyrone Mings being very good physically. So, yeah, Aaron Moy, obviously big lad up front, will be looking to head balls onwards towards Danny Ings, expecting Burnley to play direct. But we're going to start off playing our own game, like we always do, and tweak it from there. And then here we go, we kick off at Turf Moor, start off by, of course, demanding more of the players. And full-back approach, looking to try and get width, but it does look like it is going to be Burnley with the first attack, 5 minutes in. Tyrone Mings, he's a very good player, actually. I was quite impressed looking at his attributes early on. Finds Danny Ings, who's probably going to cross the ball in. Oh, for God's sake, guys. This is where bottling the league starts. This is where we start to bottle the league. I mean, it was a really good ball, but I was just saying that I brought Varela in for his experience, and he completely lost Falk. Oh. Okay. We're making changes, I guess. So, we're going to raise our defensive line a little bit more, tell the lads to be a little bit more expressive, and go from there. We need to start getting that ball forward and playing the way we know we can play. It's unacceptable right now. Fullbacks being on automatic, us changing to an attacking mentality should mean that they should start bombing forward a little bit more. We've got the ball in the final third now. Good cross from Varela. Yes, the flag stays down. I actually thought I was going to be offside then. The awkward yes. But we're going to stay on attacking. You know, I'm sick and tired of this. Particularly now, like going into this final bit of the season. Opposition teams know we're top of the league. But it seems like with our poor form recently, they've been seriously trying to take the game to us. So, look, we've got good players. Let's just bloody use them. Let's go out, try and score goals, and be expressive. Andre looking to score against his former side. Varela looks to get a second assist, and there it is. Andre Gray. In what was that? A space of like 2 or 3 minutes. In the East Lancashire derby, Andre Gray scores against his previous side. Really good assist from Varela. I'm not sure whether or not... wow, that actually took a bit of a deflection. But yeah, I'm not actually sure whether or not Varela's contract is expiring in the summer. But he's got 2 assists to his name, regardless of that deflection. So, you know, I'd like to think that making that change has certainly made a difference. Demirbay is going to whip the ball in. Alenya loves a shot from here. Ooh, that's exactly what he did. I was expecting him to bulge the back of the net there, to be fully honest. But, yeah, the Burnley goalkeeper dropping the ball. I mean, I know it's raining, but then again, it's a tin pot club like Burnley. Probably can't afford proper goalkeeper glove sponsorship. So Alenya tried to thread that ball through. Decent idea. Ball played up to Piaka. Alenya wins a second ball. Can we win it again? We can. Nano finds Piaka, who again is going to whip that ball in. And Andre Gray as well, like a hot knife through butter, completely demolishing this Burnley defence. And they're playing very, very narrow, and it's given our front three, particularly the wide men like Piaka in this case, and our fullbacks, a lot of room to run into, get balls into the box. And despite going 1-0 down, we decided to stop really sitting on the fence and just go attacking, and it's worked wonders for us so far. And I'd like to think at this... Ooh, unlucky there from Dumic. Can we recycle? I'd like to think from this point onwards, we won't really throw away what is quite a healthy lead for the Blackburn fans and Blackburn Rovers. Did I just see an advertisement for FIFA 17? Decent reaction. Make sure that the lads don't get too complacent. I'm going to switch retain possession back on a little bit. I'm pretty sure I saw FIFA... Yeah, there's a FIFA 17 ad up there. And an Xbox One ad. That's interesting. And a Tops ad. They used to do stickers, I think, back in the day. 50p a packet or something like that. Oh! Goal! What a strike from Carl Salenia. Oh my god, like Steven Gerrard in his prime. Straight over Tom Heaton. Tom Heaton for England, you're having a laugh. Because our Spaniard, our magician in midfield is, well, he's having a field day. He had a shot earlier on, didn't exactly go according to plan, but what a strike that was. Nano, another of our Spaniards, linking up with Carlos Alenya. The Turk plays it to Nano in the middle. And Nano there really, really should have scored. We should have made it 5 there. I was so focused on the ads that they've got going on in this stadium that I completely missed that strike. I don't want to concede another goal. Don't really want 4-2. And yeah, that's what I'm talking about there. Really, the high line really haunting us, and Danny Ings getting a bit of a cheap goal there. And let's be honest, there's still another 40 minutes to go in this game, so anything can happen at this point. So I'm going to stick to my guns and be a bit more mature about what's going on. Rajkovic recently has been a bit questionable. You know, maybe it's the fact that he is young, maybe it's the fact that he is young, maybe it's the fact that he is somewhat inexperienced. He's not used to being in this kind of like title-winning scenario thing. But, go on. Oh, no, I thought he was going to shoot. But it's a good position to get a cross into the box from, and we're going to score. Shout out to the post. I think that's Sondre Gray's hat-trick there. It's not actually displaying anything, because it's more focused on Ryan Tunnicliffe coming on, who actually used to play for us. Someone doing star jumps over there near the managers. But, yeah, good goal, that. In the right place at the right time. I think we had at least 3 players there ready to pick the ball up, and really, really satisfying to actually put 5 goals, obviously past our opposition today. The Spurs game, I feel like, is going to be a massive game still, especially if Man United win their game. Honestly, at this current point, guys, every point counts. Is he going to make it 4? Oh my god. Can you imagine if that had actually gone in? Oh, it's Vujovic in goal, not Tom Heaton. Right, okay, that's interesting. There's me ripping into Tom Heaton when it's bloody Vujovic in goal. There we go, full-time whistle blows, 5-2. A much more entertaining derby than the one early on in the season, but most importantly, a win. So we're going to make sure the players 100% know that and tell them I'm happy. I'm not going to mention the Champions League at this stage. It's kind of dumb. Like, I don't need to tell them we've qualified for the Champions League, because we are going to qualify for the Champions League regardless of whether we win today or not. Like, mathematically, it's almost impossible for us not to qualify for the Champions League. So, yeah, we managed to grab the win. Yep, we're happy. So, there we go. Man United, of course, still to play their game. They beat Man City. Morata's actually been on fire. I think he is the top scorer in the Premier League. 27 goals, Alvaro Morata. What a player he is. And this is actually something funny I've been mentioning to guys at work. Obviously, at work we have a lot of United fans. And Morata, Lindelof, it's just weird seeing these transfers happen in real life. You know what I mean? Obviously, a lot of press have been talking about Morata to Man United. And I rate Morata. I really do think he's a good player, but I don't really think he should leave Real Madrid just yet. Benzema's not getting any younger. And I feel like, you know, Morata's an important striker for Real Madrid personally. That's not updated, I don't think. But, yeah, so United are going to have Chelsea at home in a few days' time. So we are going to know the outcome of that before we have to face Spurs. And then they're going to be away at Leicester whilst we're facing Spurs. So, like, you know, looking at this, I think, oh, Chelsea's going to be a hard game. But given that Chelsea are 15th in the Premier League right now, I think United should be able to zoom past them. But I'm going to go to the Spurs game, and I'll see you guys in probably a second's time. So here we are. So in them past few days, we've had quite a few interesting developments. Interesting development number 1, Chelsea have dropped into the relegation zone. Interesting development number 2, sorry, I don't know. I can't speak this morning. I end up recording a lot of these videos in the morning. Yes. So obviously, because Chelsea dropped into the relegation zone, that also means that Man United beat them. So, cheers for that, Chelsea. Man United's form at the moment looks scary. It really, really does. And to be fair, their fixture list is probably easier than ours. We've got Spurs and Liverpool coming up. They've only really got Arsenal. But one interesting thing about Arsenal is that they beat Real Madrid 1-0 in the Champions League quarter-final. And it was the away leg as well, so it's an away goal for them. So, yeah, whatever. Good luck to them, I suppose. But, yeah, we got Spurs now. Another interesting development as well. Douglas wants to leave. I don't know what it is with all these decent players that I bring in wanting to leave within a season, but he wants to leave. He wanted a new contract, and I basically told him to wait till the end of the season. He didn't want to wait until the end of the season, and now he's basically thrown a sulk. In a way, you look at him on paper, I think he's a very good player, but I don't think he's contributed with as many assists and had as many Player of the Match awards as I kind of thought he would have, even though his attributes are all there. I feel like Romeu has been just as good. And he's got an assist as well, and the same number of Player of the Matches, and a goal. And Douglas's 2 goals have just been goals from free kicks, you know what I mean? Because he's got 19 free kick taking. But in terms of performances, I don't actually feel like Romeu's been too much worse. So Douglas is probably a player we can sell on for 25-30 million quid. The board have already set our transfer budget for the summer for about 50 million quid. That is, of course, assuming we carry on with this save. If we win the league, if we bottle the league, we will be carrying on with this save 100% and be looking to invest that money. Joachim Löw is Spurs' new manager, in case you weren't aware. So on that note, let's take on the Spurs. Okay, so historically, we've got quite a decent record against Spurs, but just the sight of this Spurs side scares me, to be honest. They've got a much better side than we do. I put in Varjek in at right back with Varela moving to left back, simply because I don't really feel like a 31-year-old Fabio has the legs to deal with the pace that Spurs have, not just on Harry Kane, but Lacazette and Lamela on both sides. And they've also got Deulofeu in their arsenal. Lol. Felt like Varjek really had to come in. Other than that, don't really see a point in changing anyone else. We played well against Burnley. We've been focusing on defensive positioning in our training coming up to this game. We've got Romeu, who's going to be man-marking Eriksen. See if that helps, because, as always, most of their attacks come through Christian Eriksen playing just off Harry Kane. Tactically, usual approach really, but we're looking to retain possession with shorter passing, defensive line just normal, and we're going to try and hold on to the ball, play with a counter mentality as well as we can, and just try to slowly build ourselves into the game and see how we fare out like that. But I am scared of this Spurs team. We are at home, so we do have... What? Well... Okay, that's a phenomenal start for us. So that's Marco Rog coming on, I guess. I doubt Rog's even had time to warm up, to be honest. Here we go. Eriksen picks up the ball. It's a really good tackle. And why is Varjek hoofing that forward? I mean, his tactical familiarity is there now. He shouldn't be really making stupid mistakes like that. Dele Alli, we need to get stuck into him here. Lamela picks the ball up. It's a really good tackle from Varela. Piaka with a chance to link up with Andre and Nano as we look to break away. It's important we don't lose the ball here. We've got enough men forwards now to start scurrying forward. It's a really good tackle from Eric Dyer, but we should be able to win the second ball and mount another attack with a lot of our players in that final third. Marco Rog. Well, that's the issue with Marco Rog, isn't it? That is the issue with Marco Rog. In terms of when we signed him, he was exactly what we needed. He's been such a good servant for the club. His finishing lets him down. He always gets in the right position, and then his finishing lets him down. This is exactly what I wanted from us, to be honest. Slightly slower, slightly more methodical play. We know that Spurs are going to be playing with a high line, and Marco Rog lets us down again. 2 clear-cut chances now, basically in the space of 10 minutes. And the last time this happened, I think, was the FL Cup final against Arsenal, and we all know how that ended. Let's just take a look here and see if there's anything specific we can exploit. Dele Alli is playing a lot deeper than I'd probably expect him to, but then again, he's such a good player, isn't he? Think about Dele Alli, not exactly, doesn't look to be the strongest guy, but he really is pretty strong. And then you've got Eric Dyer, who's more of that ball winner in midfield. Danny Rose, pretty pacey again. They've got this Guedes guy, at right back, and I feel like he's not maybe as good as he could be. And a lot of our attacks have in fact come down that side with Piaka. So, for that reason, we're going to actually tell Varela to play as a wing back. Let's get him pushing forward, and working a little bit more with Piaka down that left-hand side. We'll look to exploit that left-hand side as well, and try and take advantage of that potential weakness. They're playing with an incredibly high line, so a part of me, especially with Nano on a 6.6, does kind of feel tempted to move him to be an advanced forward. You know what? Let's just do it. We're going to do it. We're going to make him an advanced forward, and we're going to try and play a little bit more direct, and try and see if we can get the ball forward to this guy. We'll actually look for the overlap now that he's going to be a wing back. Hopefully, Nano will start using his pace a little bit better. Who's actually the faster one? Is it Andre or Nano? I'm pretty sure it's Nano, yeah. See if he can use his pace, take advantage of that high line being played by Spurs, and let's see if we can get Varela involved a little bit more as well. I'm not really happy with his yellow card, but let's move into this second half and see what happens. We're actually going to tell our goalkeeper as well to specifically distribute to Varela and try and get the ball to him down that left-hand side. This is extremely experimental, but I'm trusting my gut feeling right now. And most of the time when I trust my gut feeling, it normally works okay, somewhat. So, yeah. That's what we're going with. So we're going to try and basically utilise Piaka on the outside here to obviously take on that poor right back that Spurs have. I do feel like having two up front will help us take advantage of that high line that Spurs are playing. And Alenya's, it's all about him playing slightly more, direct balls forward to this lot now. Kunz is incredibly fast. So I think his pace could be very useful out on that side. Just a case of, I don't want to take Piaka off as well. This is tough decisions. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're taking Nano off and bringing on Yang, because to be fair, he's the fastest player in our side. Bar Matthias Kunz, playing slightly more direct. That'll probably increase as the game goes on. We brought on Nigel as a defensive midfielder. That way he kind of solidifies us a little bit more. Our fullbacks are going to be looking to get involved a little bit more as well. The main issue for us right now is that it kind of leaves us a little bit open, I'd say, in terms of the middle of the park, which is where Spurs' 4-2-3-1 has a lot of players in. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to change to a counter mentality and play more direct, and look to basically start pumping that ball into the box. We're also going to change to be rigid rather than flexible. That way the defenders kind of focus. In fact, we're going to structured, rigid. Look at me living in the past. Yeah, that way our defenders kind of, you can see the match stats, are starting to improve. That way we kind of like, our defenders focus more on defending rather than try and get too involved. But there we go. Lamella's going to pick the ball up. We should be able to, oh, Varela, you need to win that, lad. But he's on a yellow card, that's the problem. I need to bring, oh, he's going to get sent off now. Oh, I knew I forgot something, and it was bringing on Fabio for him. We brought him on for the Burnley game because of his experience and all that, and he's proper let us down here. We're going to have to sacrifice this Andre, and oh god, who's going to play left back for us now? Okay, this is what we've had to go with, really. We've not got anyone who can basically play left back for us, so we're going to move Piaka back and still look to try and get balls and things down this hand side. Tell him to be a little bit more attacking, but yeah, we got 10 minutes to try and hold on. In terms of what can we potentially do, we're going to sit a little bit more deeper. Tell him to be a little bit more disciplined, and that's it. I think really our chances of getting anything out this game, or getting a win rather out this game, are pretty much gone. You know what I mean? So who's actually the better player in the air? Is it Niang or Andre? Neither of them are really, big physical strikers. It is going to be Niang without surprise there. But we got to try, direct over the opposition defence and hope that these guys will push forward and sweep up. I'd be happy with a point at this point, but we've got to hope that Man United slip up in their game against whoever the hell they're playing. 86th minute, we've got a corner. Nyang, oh my god. And now Balde Keita, I think that is, with bags of pace to burn. Don't do this. Oh, really good tackle there from Nigel. Really well played, and this is a chance now. Nyang is played over the top. I don't rate Nyang's finishing. He's got to hold the ball up. He does. He dribbles. Oh! What a play there from Nyang. Beautiful the way that the defender, just completely lost him. Can we get someone on the end of this header as well? Wanyama's going to pick it up, but we still have a chance to fight for a winner here. Andre looks completely knackered trying to find someone, but finds Nigel. Callas now, not the player we want with the ball out on the right-hand wing, and that is why Wanyama tackles him. Oh my god, it's all kicking off now. Oh, good attempt of a tackle there from Nigel. Keita has been given space to shoot. Can someone explain to me what our goalkeeper's trying to do there? What's our goalkeeper trying to do there? It looks like his foot just got stuck, like his studs got stuck in the grass, and he forgot how to catch a ball. We've had 3 clear-cut chances, and the changes we made, despite going a man down, for God's sake. It's going to be our second loss in the league. United have lost way more games than we have, but we've also drawn more games than they have. Spurs will probably get second here as well. I can't believe what I've just seen. On the back of that, I can't figure out what he's trying to do. Appalling. I think Scott Carson's coming in for the next game, to be honest. I'm sick and tired of Rajkovic being poor in goal. If Man United win their game, they've essentially reduced what was a 10-point gap between us and them at one point in this chase up to the Premier League to 1 point. Who have they got again? They've got Leicester later on today. So for that reason, oh my god, this guy's out for 4 months as well. Mr. Kerem, I get injured all the time, demo by. Sim forwards and see what happens with the United result. Doesn't help that we're in a bloody FA Cup semi-final either, to be honest. It's all happening right now, and it's all coming down to United. Morata, 89th minute. You couldn't make this up. You can't make this up. And it's all coming down to the fact they didn't give us any money in January. I mean, they've given us 50 million quid now. It's no use now, is it? It's no use now. United are in the bloody form of their lives. And they've got a pretty easy run through. Like, Wenger, you and Arsenal are my biggest bogey team on this save. But if you want to do me one favour, just one small favour, please beat Man United. If you've enjoyed the video, I'm not sure whether I enjoyed it or not. First game was nice. Second game, not so much. It's just these games, isn't it? It's these games there where you ended up dropping 4 points and that reduces the gap. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Do you think we can still stay top of the Premier League come the end of the season? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.